Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rob, this is Big Rob's van, and this is Big Rob's drone. Well, hello friends and welcome back to the workshop. We have just spent the past 2 days flying this drone from Ruko. This is the U11MINI 4K drone. That 4K part is important. So if you saw, I did a recent video on this channel where I talked about all the cameras that I use for Big Rob's van. I showed my GoPro, I showed my iPhone, and the kind people at Ruko reached out to me and said, hey, how come you're not using a drone? I said, because I don't have a good drone to use for this channel. They said, how about we send you one, you try it out, you review it on the channel and let people know what you think. So that's what we are doing here today. There is no strings attached. In fact, I'm gonna tell you some things that this drone does really well. I'm gonna tell you some things that I don't think it does very well. I'm gonna talk about the price, whether or not I think it's a good value, and all the stuff that you get. So let's get into it. So first of all, I will just tell you that this is the 4th drone that I have owned. I owned a very cheap one a long time ago, like a $100 one off of Amazon. I own a large DJI drone that I don't fly very often because it's so big and it's such a pain to get out and get everything hooked up. And then I bought recently a $40 drone off of Amazon, which I would call a nice toy. It was okay for flying in the house and maybe on the porch, but the minute you got it outside and into the wind, off it went. So this drone, first of all, is a nice combination, kind of a middle of the road drone for all those. It has some of the features that the more expensive ones have, but it is small and light, which is important, and not that expensive. So again, this is the Ruko's U11MINI 4K. So this here is the drone, which you can see rotating on this cool thing I just got off of Temu. This is the drone right here. It weighs 249 grams. Now, why is that important? Because at least in the United States, drones that weigh 250 grams and above need to be registered with the FAA. Drones that are 249 grams and below do not. So this is a 249 drone, which means you can buy this, you can take it home, and you can start flying it around in your backyard or any area where drones are approved to fly. I will show you the outside of this drone real quick. First of all, as you can see, it has these 4 arms, and the propellers here are the blades, I guess, on the end of each arm. If you look at the front here, I guess this is kind of like the cockpit area. And in the front, this is very important. This is the 4K camera. I believe this is a 1/2 inch Sony sensor. It is a really good camera, and it is attached to an electronic gimbal. Now, if you're not familiar with photography or gimbals, let me explain this to you in about 10 seconds. If you've ever watched someone's YouTube footage where they're using a phone and it's all over the place and bumping around, they probably didn't have a gimbal. If you see someone walking and their footage is very smooth, or they're driving in a car and it's smooth, they probably had a gimbal. So a gimbal is this little electronic system that keeps the camera exactly balanced. I will insert some footage right here from my old drone, which did not have a gimbal, and you can see what that looks like. You see it bouncing around and all jiggling and stuff. So those kind of drones are fun to fly, but they're no good for using footage for a YouTube channel or anything like that. On the side, there is a little slot right here, which is where you can put a micro SD card. Now you can stream all of the pictures and footage to your phone, which we'll talk about, but if you want the higher quality, I think like the 4K stuff or the higher resolution photos, you're gonna wanna save those on the micro SD card. This does not come with a micro SD card. You'll need to provide that yourself. And in the back here, this is where the battery goes, and I'll show you those batteries here in just a moment. So, oh, let me show you this real quick too. This fits into this case. It comes with this case, and the way this fits into this case is, as you can see, these arms are spring-loaded, and they just pop into place just like that. So it fits into this tiny little square, and then whenever you're ready to fly the drone, you have to pop them out of the right order, top first, bottom second. They fold out just like that, and then there you go. So that's the drone. What else do you get right here? This is the controller. You can see there are 2 joysticks. Now these joysticks have to be unscrewed each time for this to go back into the case. I don't love that. I feel like the case could have been slightly modified so that I don't have to undo things on the controller each time I want to use it. There's some buttons on the controller here that I'll talk about in just a minute. And also you get batteries. Now there are a couple of different packages of this drone available on Amazon. There is a less expensive one that comes with 1 battery and a more expensive one for about $100 more that comes with 3 batteries. The batteries say that they last for about 32 minutes. I didn't get quite that. I got about 25 minutes, but that was in Oklahoma wind where this thing is battling to hold its ground and not get blown all over the place. But I would say roughly you're gonna get around 30 minutes, up to 30 minutes per battery. So the advantage of having multiple batteries, and it's not just this drone, any drone, or a GoPro or anything like that, is that while you're using one, you can be charging the others. So if you have the 3 battery system, while you're using one, you can be charging the other 2 batteries. And then as one dies, you just put it in rotation and you keep doing that. So that would give you like an entire day's worth of flying. Whereas if you just have the 1 battery, when it dies, you're gonna have to go charge it back up and you're gonna be not flying for quite a long time. These are the batteries that come with it. I got 2 batteries, which I don't think is a package they sell, but that's what they sent me to play around with. You can see there's a power button here on the end, and that power button will show you, there's some green lights here that will show you what the current charge level is, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And also on the side of this battery, there is a small USB-C connection. So the controller is charged through USB-C, the batteries are charged through USB-C. So if you have a USB power pack or something like that, you take it out, you are good. This comes with charging cables, so you know, you can go out and plug this thing up and recharge, play around with stuff. Let's look at the controller real quick. The controller has not too many buttons. There's a power button, there's a return to home button, so when you're flying this, if it gets somewhere, if it gets away from you where you can't see it, or it's over some trees or something like that, you can press this come home button and the drone will fly up to a certain height, it will fly over, it will come back down and land approximately where it took off from. It's doing all that through GPS, which we'll talk about. And the way that it gets GPS is the spring-loaded little area, which is where you put your smartphone. So it also has these little cables. You get a couple different cables. There's a USB-C one for newer iPhones or for Android phones, tablets, things like that. There's also a lightning cable in there. You have some tab buttons here. One is for switching the camera back and forth, and this one is for aiming the camera, so you can go all the way from 90 degrees horizontal to 90 degrees vertical. So you can change it back and forth with that. Otherwise, it flies basically just like any other drone. You will have to use a phone with this, and I'm gonna be real honest. Oh, let me show you before I close this up. This is the case that it comes with. It is a, it's kind of covered in this tweed. It's like a hard plastic underneath here. I saw a lot of videos where people use this as like a helipad to launch the drone from. I thought that was kind of silly to do. And then I took this drone out into a dirt field and I didn't want to lay it out in the dirt where there was grass and stuff. And so all of a sudden I said, oh, that might be a good idea. So I did do that as well. Now I will say the return to your takeoff point, the return button is not that accurate. I would say it's accurate within about 5 to 10 feet. So it will get your drone close to you, and if it's gonna land somewhere like in a tree or like I experienced earlier near a pool, you can take over, you can move it over a little bit, you can adjust it. So it's not like it's on autopilot and it's gonna crash, you can move it, but it will bring it. I had wind, I was flying the drone, I flew it over some trees, I lost line of sight of the drone, I could not see where it was. I pressed that button, I heard it zoop, take off into the air, flew over to where I was, and I could hear it beeping as it was coming down, and it brought the drone right back to me. It will also do that if your battery gets down to, I think, 5 or 10%. If the battery gets real low, the drone will automatically return to you. So that is a nice feature. So let's talk about how this thing flies. Well, first of all, I watched a lot of YouTube videos of other reviews of people who reviewed this. And based on those reviews, I thought I was gonna pull this thing out of the box, set it down, and take off within 30 seconds. My first flight probably took 2 hours of preparation. Part of that is because I haven't flown a drone like this, so my drone skills are a little rusty. It involves downloading an app, which you'll have to have. Again, there's iOS or Android versions. You have to have that app On your phone, there's a tutorial that it wants you to go through. There are a lot of different steps. In addition to that, when you put the drone out to take off and you put the phone connected to the remote, it wants to connect to a lot of different it needs to connect to multiple GPS satellites. So that takes time when you turn the remote on. It will sit there and beep, beep, beep until it connects to that. That takes a minute or two. So there are a lot of different steps. Now, earlier, when I got back to the house, there was a storm coming in. I wanted to take some pictures of the storm or some video of the storm as it was rolling in over the neighborhood. So I just flew it straight up and got some video of that. And based on that, I mean, I was able to get it up in the air in a minute or two, like a couple of minutes. So once you get familiar with everything and you know the systems and stuff, it's not really that hard. But it's just learning where all the buttons are and what everything does. So to take off, you actually have to connect your phone, like I said, to the controller. There is a button that you slide to engage the propellers. That is after this is connected to that, after you've connected to all the GPS satellites, then you engage the rotors, and then you can take off. So, you know, like I said, there's a lot of different steps, but once you get it down, it's really not that difficult. On the remote, there are 3 different settings. There's a little slide bar here. There's cinematic, normal, and speed. If I were explaining this to someone who's never seen a drone before, I would say slow, medium, and fast. You wouldn't think that the cinematic or the slow one would be that useful, but it's very useful, especially if you're trying to capture footage for, let's say, a YouTube channel, because if you have it on normal, even on normal, sometimes it's very fast. It goes fast, it turns fast, it goes up fast, it goes down fast, and the footage reflects that, especially if you're just holding the drone in one place and spinning. If you watch that footage, at least I get like airsick, like it gives me motion sickness. So the cinematic mode slows everything down, and that slows down your controls, your response times and everything, but the footage that you get is really smooth, and you can really turn slowly and pan the camera up and down, and you can really get some cinematic footage using that. Now, if you're just out playing, you want to fly around in a field, your backyard, something like that, put it on that speed mode. This thing zips. This thing is super fast. It's faster. I don't have the experience to fly it that fast. Now, my son, who has grown up with drones, put it on the fast mode. He had a great time flying it around the yard, doing all kinds of stuff like that. It made me super nervous, but he's good at it. I'm not that fast at it. So the normal was fine for me, and the cinematic was great for capturing that footage. Now, in the app, there's a lot of features that aren't available on the remote itself. So there are some AI features. There's an AI feature where it is supposed to follow you, follow the GPS signal of your phone. So the idea is that you'd be able to put your drone somewhere, you would walk. It's against the law, I believe, to operate a drone from a moving vehicle. So you really wouldn't want to do that. And you really wouldn't want to put that footage on YouTube, but it would do it, okay? There's another AI feature where it will follow you. And so you can just put it up there. You could say, this is a person. It does a little AI, kind of like a Ring doorbell or something, where it draws a box and it says, this is the person. And you can walk around, and the drone will stay in one place, but it will just sit there and turn like a tripod, like it's on an aerial tripod, and follow you. I didn't have great luck with either of those features, to be honest. The GPS tracking, as I walked towards it away, it never seemed to move. The camera tracking, as I walked across the field of vision of the camera, it would wait until I got to the very end, and then it would just pan real quickly. So it would keep me in frame, but it didn't keep me in the center of the frame. It would just wait till I got to the edge and then scoot me to the other edge, and then I would keep walking, and it would keep doing that. So if I were going to be putting a video together where I wanted to track somebody, I would probably get a faraway shot, and then I would do the tracking in my editing software on the computer. So there are some features. There's also a circle, an item of interest. That I did get to work. It's pretty cool. So you could take your drone up at the sky and point it at something like your vehicle or yourself and hit circle, and at that same height, the distance, and angle that it's at, it will just circle around. And so if you've ever seen the footage of like it going around someone's van or going around a tree or a lake or a river or something, that's probably what they did. They're not doing it manually. They just hit a button on the remote. And I did have good luck with that. That one worked pretty well. So let's talk about what I really liked about this drone. First of all, it it's simple to use. I mean, it's not simple during that unboxing time. It's gonna take you some time. You're gonna have to learn that app. You're gonna have to learn where all the controls are. You're gonna have to learn how to take it off. I mean, that stuff takes a little bit of time. That's the same with every drone. But once you get that, it's simple. I could go out right now, you set it down on the ground, you turn on the battery, you sync up that, you could take off, and then off you go. The controls are really easy. There's a lot of features in that app. There's a lot of buttons on this, but you don't need all of them if you just want to fly around and have some fun. So that right there, I really like. I also really like the camera in this thing. Again, this is a 4K Sony half-inch sensor. This is a great camera, and it's on the gimbal, right? So as you're flying around, it's almost like, I mean, it's just super smooth. Sometimes you'll be looking up at the sky and see the drone moving. You look at the footage, it almost doesn't look like you're moving because it's so smooth. It's like, it's just a smooth tracking shot. So if you are wanting to get like those cool aerial shots of your van or of your neighborhood or clouds or the river, wherever you're at, again, as long as it's legal to do so, this thing will do it. I'm gonna talk in a minute just about the legality. I like the case. I like the fact that this all folds up and it all fits in this tiny little case. I mean, this would fit in the seat back of my car, and I like that everything charges through USB-C. I've said this on other videos. I am over having different chargers for everything I own. I'm over it. Like, I don't want to be plugging stuff into the wall. I want everything to be USB-C. I am actively getting rid of things that are USB micro, USB mini. I'm getting rid of them and replacing them with USB-C devices. So everything on this is USB-C, the controller, the batteries. So I like all that. So, I like all that stuff. What do I think it doesn't do great? Some of those features on the app. I don't think the AI stuff on the app is very advanced, and I don't think it worked very well. Now, here's the good news about that. That's the app. That's not this. So they can improve the app. I'm not saying that they will. I don't know. I don't have any insight to that, but they could, right? So if they were going to replace or upgrade this, I mean, then you're talking firmware or sending it back, or probably they would just say, hey, buy another one. You know what I mean? So, but this is not where the improvement needs to be made. It needs to be made in the app. So I would suspect over time there will be improvements to the app. I think the app says version 1.0. So my guess is they'll improve those AI algorithms. They'll figure out better ways for that stuff, and there'll be an update for the app, and it'll probably work better. So if I were buying it for, I've seen drones that, I've seen people advertise or review drones that will follow you around like a personal camera and stuff. This is not that. So if I were looking for that, I wouldn't buy it for that. If you're looking for something that is fun to fly, will give you great footage that you can fly at low levels, you can fly super high and far away levels, then this is that drone. I want to talk about price and value. Before I do that, I want to talk for 1 minute about legality. You can buy a car that will break the speed limit. You can buy a car that will allow you to break the law, okay? You can buy drones that will allow you to break the law, okay? So before you go flying a drone, you should look up what the laws are in your city, in your state, and if you're outside the United States, in your country. So a lot of people will tell you drones that are less than 250 grams don't need to be registered for with the FAA, and that is true. However, all drones that are used for business or for monetary gain do need to be registered, and you do need to have a license. And if you look on their website, it says that includes using them for realtor photography, for event photography, wedding photography, and for monetized YouTube videos, which is why this video is not monetized. Very specifically, it's not monetized because Big Rob doesn't want to get in trouble with the government. So anyway, look into the rules. There were a few years ago when I had my other drone, you could fly it in city parks here, and I looked it up and you can no longer fly it in my city parks. So I had to go to private property to go fly this. Also, last thing I will mention, because it is near and dear to my heart, you need to check into the laws and regulations and find out, make sure you're not close to an airport, because you don't want to you don't want to endanger anybody. Now that being said, this drone does have two levels, I guess two settings. There's a beginner, there's an advanced. I believe in the beginner mode, it will let you fly about 400 feet away. Now 400 feet is pretty far. I mean, a football field's 300 feet, right? So 400 feet is pretty far. In the advanced mode, I believe you can fly this up to 3.8 miles away from you. That is far. The other thing I will mention about legality is that legally, you're not allowed to fly a drone outside of your own personal line of sight. You have to have visual on a drone. So odds are you can't see 3.8 miles away. So if you are flying this thing far away, you may be breaking the law. I'm not the drone police. I mean, I kind of am during the day of the drone police, but you do you. But I would strongly recommend you look up the rules and regulations before. Don't just get a drone, go next to the airport, fly, see how far, you know, if you can land it on the tarmac or something. It's a bad idea. They're gonna come get you. Okay, all that being said, how much does this thing cost? Do I think it's worth it? There are two packages available on Amazon right now. There is a 1 battery version for $299, and there is a 3 battery version for $399, so for $100 more. Now you can buy separate batteries, and batteries are 65 bucks. If you're gonna fly this in your backyard, you wanna go out and fly around and you don't think that you may not like drones or you're not that interested in it or something like that, then I guess get the 1 battery one, right? Now, for this review, they sent me 2 batteries. So let me tell you, the battery number 1 drains faster than battery number 2 charges, okay? So when I went out flying, I had battery 1, I had them both charged up. I ran battery 1 all the way down, 30 minutes of flying, done. I swapped them out and I plugged that one back in. When battery 2 was depleted all the way back to 0%, I pulled out battery 1, which had been charging, and it was somewhere between 25 and 50%. So it was not all the way done. So if I had 3 batteries, you could pretty much cycle, you know, almost 100% all the time, right? But you can't do it with 2, and you sure can't do it with 1. If you do it with 1, you're gonna fly for half an hour, and then you're gonna be done for an hour, however long it takes to charge these batteries. So if you think you're gonna go flying, if you think this is something that you would like to do, and you wanna go out, take it out for a weekend, do something like that, then I would recommend getting the 3 battery package. The other thing is, everything with a drone takes longer than you think it will, right? You go, I'm gonna fly it up, get a 30-second shot, and back down. Okay, that's turning this on, that's this on, that's this syncing, that's your phone syncing, that's flying, that's taking off, that's getting the shot, that's coming back. And then, you know, all of a sudden you've been doing this for 10, 15 minutes and you got a 30-minute battery, right? So it does take longer than you think. So again, there is an advantage to having the multiple batteries. This thing is super fun. I'm not gonna lie. I will be flying it a lot. I'll be showing it some on the channel. However, like I said, due to legal reasons, I can't really show, I can't legally, and I know some people do it, and that's the chance that they take. But you're not supposed to legally show drone footage if you are monetizing your videos. So I won't be showing it in every video, but there will be occasions where I do, and it is completely fine if you want to make your own videos and upload them to YouTube that are not monetized. So maybe I'll just make some drone montages and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, this thing is super fun. My kid had a great time flying it. I had a great time flying it. Again, I've been showing you some footage. We went out to this abandoned field. It's private property. It's behind a business. We got to go fly it out there for the whole weekend. We had so much fun. I've flown it in the backyard, trying to stay over my property area, even taking it up high sometimes. I really like it. So anyway, that is my review of this drone. Again, this is a mid-level drone. It's not a little kid's toy, but it's not one of the big boys, right? I mean, that's not a $1,000 drone. So in that, $300 range, this is a great product. So anyway, that's my review of the Ruko drone. Go check it out. Go get droning. I gotta run every video with a dumb thing. Go get droning. Get droning, baby. That's my new catchphrase. Big Rob's van is droning.